All right, let's explore a content browser for Math 8. Let's see what it looks like in MATHia when it comes down to solving equation with variables on both sides. We'll click on modeling linear equation. We'll click on solving multi-step with variables on both sides. And this time I selected the type in answers. You can always look at the samples before you assign it. So you can kind of see what kind of question will come up, what kind of question student will have to answer. And then again, you can do this and then do this with the entire class, have it on your screen, your main screen in the classroom, or you can just assign it to kids. So once you get it pulled up, what I love about this is that it's self-paced. So you log in, student get to, there's an equation given here. It looks like I can add 3 on both sides. So I'm going to add on both sides, add 3 on both sides. And again, this is adaptable. So whatever direction the student decides to go, it would adapt with the student. So the adding on both sides, it shows what's happening on both sides. So this will be, when you add on both sides, it wants students to write their answers. So which requires them to really think it through and show their work. So there's no guessing here. You have to show your work. At this point, it looks like they will subtract both sides by 5. And then again, it shows on both sides what's happening so student can see what it means by subtracting on both sides. And then they get to answer the answer is 2. And then at this point, you're going to click, a student would then click on what operation to do next. It looks like they have to divide on both sides by 13. By doing that, they get the answer, right? So this is good work. I encourage when they're doing this, you want them to also, like, if they, I mean, they're showing the work on the screen. And on top here, you can see the solution history. You can see what path are they taking. In this case here, it looks like I can easily add um, 6 on both sides, but it looks like added on both sides. I added 10 on both sides just to see what's going to happen, right? I didn't go for the variable at first. I wanted to see how adaptive this would get with me going because it's supposed to adapt to student. We don't want to force them in one way. We want them to kind of try it out and explore and see what happens. So you get your answer. The next thing is I'm like, oh, let me just see, trying to see if I can mess this up. Let me see if I can kind of like add 6x on both sides. I was like, all right, well, let's see. Add on both sides. Let's add 6. Well, I tried that, and then it gave me it says, while that is a correct option, it's not the most efficient one. By adding 6 to both sides, one side of your equation will equal to 0. So use the same thinking, but this time use a like term on the other side of the equation. So I'm like, all right, now I guess I didn't read it correctly because I went ahead and say, oh, let me subtract 4 on both sides. Well, if you subtract 4 on both sides, it says you started with the variable term, the constant one side of the equation, in variable term. If you add -4 on both sides, you will again have x variable term on one side. So great. I'm gonna take that out. So I'm gonna say no. Let me go ahead and um, subtract 3x on both sides, right? By doing that, and then I still have my isolated variable on one side. So then that will give me -9 on one side. And the next thing I have to do here, student, we have to divide both sides by -9. So for the student doing all this work, you can see the history at the top, view solution history at the very top box. You can see what's really happening, right? So this is a good way when it comes to solving equations, because that's where students are supposed to be for Math 8 right now. Hey, get MATHia out, encourage them to do this work. Right. If you're interested in this, you want to reach out to your coordinator, we can help you get going with this. Thank you.